Welcome back everyone. In this tutorial we are going to calculate the confidence interval for two independent samples when the population variance is unknown, but it's assumed to be equal. So the unknown population variances are unknown for both the two samples, but we assume they are equal. So in this case study we want to find out the difference between the mean salaries of engineers between New York City and Dallas City. And for this purpose, we got two samples. We got a salaries of 15 engineers from Dallas and salaries of 12 engineers from New York City. And for example here, the first engineer in Dallas City here earned $70,000 per year. The second one, $78,000 per year, and so on. And the first engineer here in New York receives $72,000 per year. The second one, $82,000 per year, and so on. And in this business scenario, we want to find the difference between the two population means in these two cities. To calculate the confidence intervals, we have two formulas. The first one, when the sample sizes for the two samples are greater than 30 observations. So if both of them are greater than 30s, we can use z-test. And if one of them, N1 or N2, less than 30, we need to use t-test. However, these two formulas are very similar, except the z and t values, because we are going to use something here we called pooled standard deviation. And the pooled standard deviation is the standard deviation for the two samples using this formula. And this simple formula is degree of freedom N1 minus 1 times the variance of the first sample plus degree of freedom for the second sample times the variance of the second sample, and divided by N1 plus N2 minus 2. This is the degree of freedom of the both samples. So after we find the variance, we can find pooled standard deviation by using the square root of this variance. So first here we found the mean salaries for the first sample, the engineers in Dallas, and here the sample mean of engineers in New York. And here we have the standard deviation for Dallas engineers and the standard deviation for the salaries for New York engineers. And here we have the sample size for both. And here we calculated the variance for each of them. So the first one is 138.92 and the second one is 133.91. So after that we calculated the pooled variance for these two samples using this formula. The pooled variance equal 136.72 and the pooled standard deviation, which is the square root of the variance, equal 11.69. So the next step is to find the t value, and degrees of freedom here is N1 plus N2 minus 2. So 15 plus 12 minus 2 equal 25. So we need to find t of degree of freedom when the degree of freedom is 25 and the confidence level is 95%. So let's go to find the value from the t table. And here we have alpha by 2 for 95% equals 0.025. The degree of freedom is 25. So based on that, the t value is 2.060. And when we plug all these numbers in the formula, we found the lower limit is minus 17.56 and the upper limit is 1.1. So based on that, we have a 0 in this confidence interval. And when we have 0 in the confidence interval, that means there is no difference between the salaries of Dallas engineers and New York engineers. So our interpretation here is we are 95% confident that the difference in the engineers' salaries between Dallas and New York is somewhere between minus 17.56 and 1.1. So based on that, there is no difference in the mean salaries in the two cities because we have 0 in the confidence interval.